Good evening. It's May 16th, 2025, Friday. And it's my pleasure and honor to be speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
You're looking well.
Thank you.
I heard you had a lot of nice visitors today.
Oh, yeah.
Amber came over, didn't she?
Yeah, Amber was sick again.
Amber's Mr. Jeckovich's great-granddaughter, and they get along greatly. And she comes about 4 or 5 times a week to visit Mr. Jeckovich, and they get along like 2 peas in a pod. They really do. Sometimes she makes video of them together doing things. It's so nice. Amber is a full-time missionary and a full-time surfer. I don't know how you do both, but she does. She squeezes it in. She lives right on the ocean, and she can roll out of bed and be in the Atlantic Ocean. But she travels the whole world looking for the wave. I guess she's always chasing the wave. The Bible in one hand and a surfboard in another. But she's a wonderful young girl in her 20s, and she visits Mr. Jeckovich 4 or 5 times a week and quite often, and they get along just nice.
Yeah.
You guys do a lot of nice things together.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing to see someone like this, see someone that's Christocentric and not ego-eccentric like most of the people are today. They just care about themselves and nobody else. But not in the case with Amber. She loves everyone, including her great-great-grandfather. So it works out really nice, and it's refreshing to see a young person doing these things. It truly is. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich believes in the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift, right?
Right.
We're reading your book for second time around. We're on chapter 6, and it's titled Home on Furlough and Farewell to Anne. We're on page 123. In order for me to open up the laptop, I need a passcode.
42965.
Okay, that's your dog tag number we utilize for your passcode. Okay, that's very nice. So you're feeling pretty good today, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Where were you growing up? Where did you grow up at?
Huh?
Where did you grow up at?
Niagara Falls, New York.
3063 Orleans Avenue.
Yeah.
It was beautiful then, wasn't it?
It was beautiful then, now.
What do you think happened?
Well, now figuring it in there.
Yeah. But it was really nice then. It was like in the city, but yet in the country.
Yeah.
Because didn't you say you only had 2 or 3 houses on your street?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Isn't that something?
Now they're all jammed in.
Yeah. And didn't you say a simple thing like going ice skating, you'd do what?
Open the fire hydrant.
Yeah. Now today, think how complicated. The kids have to have $100 and $200 skates and special clothes and pay 40 or 50 bucks to go to an ice skating ring. You had probably a $9 pair of ice skates. You open up the damn fire hydrant, and the next day you had beautiful.
Yeah.
You had beautiful an ice skating ring, right?
Yeah. Nobody's here.
Coffee, Mr. Jeckovich?
Huh?
Do you want a coffee?
No.
Where's the staff?
No.
It's like, I have to explain to the people working for us, this is not the federal government. You have to have accountability. When you go on break, 6 of them should leave at once. They should leave at least a couple behind me, because I can't see unless I turn over.
There's nobody here.
I can't see the staff behind me because I have to look behind me. I'm concentrating on you. But we have to explain to them, when they go on break, they should at least leave 2 or 3 people here to help us if we need some things.
Yeah.
Remember last time a tripod fell down on me?
Oh, yeah.
There was no one to help. Yeah, well, I guess it's a sign of the times. They gotta all go on break at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to the book. I'm going to put a couple pages under our belt.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
we've been slacking. Home on Furlough, Farewell to Anne, page 123. Just then, Mother and Sally arrived back from the movie. So we'll just update everybody. You were just home for furlough, that's one day.
Yeah, they had to go to
And
movies.
as soon as you got home, your mother scolded you for eating the leftover meatloaf, right?
Yeah.
Minutes?
24.
She scolded you for eating the leftover meatloaf, and your sister Sally had to go run some friend's house.
Fiddlers.
Okay, that was a dry cleaners they owned, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. And then what happened then was, after your mother came home from work, her and Sally went to the movies.
Yeah, they picked the dish up.
Yeah, because they had a special dish giveaway at the movies. They didn't want to miss them. I understand. I'm just kind of curious. You haven't been home for just a few hours. Why didn't you go to the movies with them?
Why didn't I go to the movies? Then I wasn't invited.
Okay, let's see what happened here. They both show. Okay, just then, Mother and Sally arrived back from the movie. They both showed me the dish they had me receive for attending tonight's movie. I smiled approvingly and then asked them how the movie was. Instead, Mother asked me where I was going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, she asked me where I was going to sleep.
Let's see what happens next. The thought of where I was going to sleep at any given night never crossed my mind, since I was assured of a place in the Army, but be in a bunk or in the barracks or a sleeping bag out in the woods. Mother quickly answered her own question by remarking that rather disturbed Sally's sleeping arrangements, and since I was only going to be here a short while, it was only logical that I sleep on the couch in the living room.
That's it, yeah.
And that's where you slept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agreed and said that would be fine, but I wondered where Steve slept when he was here. I imagine the fuss was made on his behalf, and he took it as a matter of course. Something that was expected and completely assured. Mother came back momentarily with a wrinkled sheet and a small knitted comforter, saying, I should use one of the pillows from the couch.
Yeah.
If I needed something for my head.
Yeah.
If you needed something for your head. Yeah, we do need a pillow. She also stated that it was getting late and that we both had to get up early the next morning for work at school. She said good night, turned and went into the bedroom, my father's bedroom, and closed the door. Sally came into the living room shortly and said good night, and she too left for her bedroom. Wow, and this is your first night home.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh boy. I felt ostracized and rejected here. I had been gone 7 months in the military. No one asked me anything about it or where I was going. I got the distinct impression that I did something heinous and objectionable and was being punished for it. The objectionable was being in the Army and leaving once again. You got drafted.
Yeah.
You had no choice.
Yeah,
Right?
I tried to stay as long as I could.
To take care of your mother, yeah. The next morning I was awakened by the noise Mother was making in the kitchen. I did not get up, but I continued sleeping. Shortly thereafter, Sally joined her in the kitchen. As they had breakfast, they chatted about last night's movie and what a great movie it was. Mother then went outside, presumably to wait for a ride to work, and Sally went back in the bedroom getting ready for school. Sally's your sister, right?
Yeah.
She was born in 1932.
Yes, her younger sister, yeah.
She waited a long time to become a wife. She was
Yeah.
a long time to be married. She married Charles Downey,
Yeah.
and he always wore a suit and tie and smoked a big cigar.
Yeah.
And your sister died in 2011. Sally Jeckovich Downey, yes, nice lady. Mother then went outside. Okay, I then got up, put on my slacks, and went into the bathroom. I no sooner closed the door when Sally became knocking on the door. You just went into the bathroom, and your sister's knocking on the door, telling me to hurry up, or she'd be late for school.
Yeah.
Wow, you're getting the bum's rush there.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting a bum's rush. Wow, my God. So where'd you end up taking showers at? It didn't work out at the house.
Why?
You didn't end up taking showers at the house.
No, I took it to the High Park.
So you said the hell with the house. You went to the Hyde Park golf course, right?
Yeah.
And they had nice hot showers there.
Yeah.
How much do they charge for a shower?
$1.25.
And it was nice hot water.
Yeah, clean place. Yeah.
Provided nice soap.
Yeah.
So you said that'd be better than going through this every day.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. You got the bum's rush, man. Let's see. It was only 7:30 hours, and the house was empty again. You came into it empty, and now it's empty again. I opened the refrigerator, that was also empty. A couple drops of orange juice in a milk bottle. No milk, no fruit of any kind. I closed the refrigerator door and went into the bathroom to shave. You remember all that?
Yeah.
Jesus, you got a memory. I decided to take both my uniforms to be cleaned and pressed at the cleaners I spotted on Pine Avenue. I wonder if that dry cleaners is still there today.
Probably, yeah.
Those family-run dry cleaners usually stay. Yeah, generation after generation. I would then walk over to the park and the nearby golf course, which I hope would still have public showers available this late in the season. I knew I needed a hot shower and something to eat. Just a second. I would also have to call the train station to arrange my return trip to Owensboro the next week. That's Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Taking my overnight bag with my 2 uniforms and a towel inside, I locked the kitchen door and went down the alley to the creek. How'd the alley look then?
Huh?
How'd the alley look?
The alley wasn't paved or nothing, yeah.
And didn't you say the holes in the alley you would take from the furnace?
Ashes from the furnace.
And you'd fill the holes, right?
Yeah.
That was a common practice back then?
Yeah.
I purposely went along the creek as I was no mood to enter into small talk conversation with any neighbors I would have certainly met. I had gone down the sidewalk in front of the house. After a while, I reached the Pine Avenue and walked several blocks until I came to the cleaners. Leaving the cleaners, I walked up Pine Avenue and went to J. Lou's Diner. Wow, that was there.
Yeah, J. Lou's still.
Probably 100 years that thing's been there.
Yeah.
Wow. On the corner of Pine and Hyde Park. I had my first decent meal since I left camp. I had fried eggs and bacon and a side order of hot cakes and plenty of hot coffee.
Yeah.
So you finally had a good dish of
Good
meal.
meal, yeah.
As I showered, I reminded of the shower facilities at camp and how crowded they would become. This most certainly was not the case here. There was no one in the entire building except for the caretaker and the attendant. So you had the whole shower facility to yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's still sorting it. Still, it wasn't winter, they set everything down.
And compared to in the military, it was very busy. Can I have some minutes here, please?
Yeah.
The attendant informed me that he would remain open for the rest of the month, which was good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we closed down for the winter months. Wow.
16.
The mention of winter months brought chill to my body as I wondered where I would be the next several months. Wow. I did not want to think too much of the future at this moment because you could have been sent to the Pacific. You didn't know it.
You didn't know where I was going to go, no.
And if you asked the superiors, what would they tell you?
They won't tell you.
They won't tell you. Okay. But I wanted to concentrate how I was going to reconcile myself with Ann. But first things first, I must get squared away with my being home and let go of all my past feelings associated with my mother and sister. The hot shower felt very good, as I wished I could wash away some of my distorted emotions as easily as the shower was ridding me of the grime and soot from the long train ride. After shower and dressing, I thought of call to make to the train station and looked about for a public phone. I found one in the adjoining building and made arrangements for this Sunday afternoon.
Oh, you went to the station?
Yeah, train station.
Yeah,
Upon returning home, this is going back to Orleans Avenue now.
yeah.
Upon returning home, and after hanging my wet towel on the clothesline outside, in fact, that clothesline outside your house was there for like 5 decades.
Yeah, yeah.
We even have a picture of you on leave,
It was still
standing
there.
next to the clothesline.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be damned. I began contemplating my next move. It was after 1300 hours, and there would be no one home until 1530 hours. I decided to find something to do around the house, just to show that I had not been sleeping all day. So this is the second day home, and your mother's got a big long list of chores.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you do, right? I looked around trying to find something to fix and would please Mother. I noticed there was a loose light switch that controlled the hall light, recalling there were some extra switches in the basement. I went down to look. Sure enough, there was one left. I suddenly remembered the last time I had gone here for a switch. It seemed like 1,000 years ago. Wow. I installed a new switch and began looking for something else to do. After a while, I discovered Sally's bedroom door would not close all the way. I removed the door, planed the bottom of it until it cleared and rehung the door, and then cleaned up the mess I had made. So you had a plane for tools in the basement?
Right?
To plane the door, you had tools in the basement?
Yeah.
Just then the phone rang. Okay, here we go. It was Sally saying that she'd be home late as she was staying at school doing some kind of project. No need to hurry now. I had until 1600 hours to finish what I had to do. I thought I'd make some iced tea, as it was reasonably warm outside. I found the tea bags and sugar, and there was some ice cubes in one of the trays in the freezer compartment of the refrigerator. So back then, you're lucky you had a refrigerator.
Yeah.
But you had like a round refrigerator, and a small part of the top of that refrigerator was a freezer.
Yeah.
And back then they used ice cube trays.
Yeah.
Today we're spoiled. We got them all at the door.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have that then.
No. They
Yeah.
come out of the ice cubes.
Yeah. Okay, let's see where I left off. I was preparing the supper, and it was one of those fragmented meals where my father and possibly Steve and Sally ate first, and then my mother and I ate after they had finished and left the table. Look, you never ate any meals at home. So you never ate anything at home? Look.
He's never home.
Wow. Did you just have a lot of friends or something?
Looky? Oh, yeah.
So you just stayed at their houses?
Oh, yeah.
It was strange to recall these events, and I wondered how I endured such trepidation at the time. No doubt I was still suffering its aftermath. Mother came into the kitchen without my hearing her enter and asked if all I had to do today was eat. Okay, this is a good part. I better start this over. So you're home on the second day now, and your mother came into the kitchen without you hearing her enter. And Mother asked if all I had to do today was eat and drink while she was working.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Taken aback, I was informed her that I had fixed the hall switch and freed up the bedroom door. Mother asked, "Is that all?" and left the room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't do enough.
Sally had not come home yet, and the two of us sat at the kitchen table eating supper. Mother asked me how I liked the Army, and she said that Steve did not mind it at all, since he was an instructor teaching recruits about automobiles and trucks. I thought to myself, that was a typical Army routine. It took Steve 3 times to pass his driver's test, and he could barely replace a flat tire. But I pondered to myself, he was a second lieutenant and I was only a private first class. But didn't you say that he never went into combat?
No, I never went
And
overseas.
the reason why he was a second lieutenant was because he went to college. And they
Yeah.
automatically put him in that position.
Yeah,
And then you said he stayed in the States and he taught young cadets how to drive Jeeps.
yeah.
Did he have like a best driving record?
The what?
Did he have an impeccable driving record? Is that why?
No. No, you just assigned them, that's all.
Did he have an accident, you said?
They hit a fire hydrant, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It took Steve 3 times to pass his driver's test, and he could barely replace a flat tire. But I pondered to myself, he was a second lieutenant, and I was only a private first class. I helped my mother with the dishes, and then she went in the living room, do her crocheting, and listen to the radio. So at that time, there's no TV thought of
No.
it, didn't exist. So your mother sat in that big lazy boy in the corner, and she crocheted and listened to the radio.
Yeah,
I sat with her. When Sally came in the room, the two of them began talking to one another. I said I was going to look around the garage and walked into the backyard, stood there a while, and finally went into the garage. It still looked depressing and disheartening, and I did not relish staying there any length of time. I closed and locked the door and then went back into the house. Mother had fallen asleep in the living room chair, and Sally was doing some homework at the dining room table. I looked over her shoulder. It was algebra she was working on. I touched her back and walked into the living room. After a while, Mother woke up and said half sleepily, not for me to make any noise. This is getting better all the time. How the hell do you remember all this? How the hell would you remember all this?
Yeah.
This is 80, 90 years ago. Oh boy. Let's see what happened next.
7.5.
Huh?
7.5.
Okay. Okay, so Mother said not to make any noise. Let's see how I went. She wanted to hear some of her favorite radio programs coming in the next hours. I sat there and listened to Fibber McGee and Molly, Grand Central Station, and the Lux Radio Theater.
yeah,
Your mother liked those, didn't she?
yeah.
Okay. Paging over to 126. And laughed at several other exploits. The next several days of furlough at home were pretty much the same as my first day. There was no special fuss made over me being home, and Mother and Sally followed their usual routine, as I have not been home at all. Mother did not inform any relatives of me being there on furlough, nor did I ask her to. Since I had no special friends, I had not seen anyone particular outside of Mother and Sally. I usually wore a pair of slacks and a t-shirt, as I was saving my recently cleaned and pressed uniforms for my trip back to Owensboro. I did not want to bother Mother regarding such matters, and strangely, she never inquired why I wore civilian clothes all the while I was home. Nor did she ask about my laundry, which I began to accumulate in my overnight bag. I had managed to take most of it to the cleaners on 2 occasions, once for my uniforms and again for the laundry. I also got several showers at the golf course during the daytime when both my mother and Sally were not home. It was not as if I was being deceptive or disingenuous, although at times it appeared to me as if I was. It was only after Mother never asked me about my laundry or uniforms as a matter of concern, so I felt it was my best to leave well enough alone
5 minutes. 5.
and do my best under the circumstances. I managed to do several items around the house. In addition to switch the door I had done earlier, Mother took it as a gesture of goodwill, but something I was obligated to do, for was not staying here, home, free all this while. Surely I must repay all the attention and goodwill. One night, several days before my departure on Sunday, I called Ann and told her my plans. It was a night Mother had several of her favorite programs to listen to, and besides, Sally was home to keep her company, which relieved me somewhat. I told Sally and Mother that I was going to take a long walk to familiarize myself with the neighborhood, and I'd be gone for several hours. They were not too concerned, as they're already preoccupied with their programs. I left about 2,000 hours, knowing that I could not reach Ann until 2,100 hours. I began walking towards Pine Avenue, hoping to find a public phone. Friday night was a relatively busy night at Pine Avenue, which the city market in the vicinity of several department stores and variety shops and theaters. I found one department store, Trapasso's.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Which had a public phone in the rear of the building at the lunch counter. After getting some quarters for the long distance call, I awaited until 2,100 hours. Well, this is going pretty good. Do you want to do a few questions now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because we have a couple questions.
3.
Huh?
3 minutes.
How many?
3.
Okay. I have to ask you a couple text questions here. So that was some trip at home, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You remember all that?
Well,
You remember all that, don't you?
yeah.
Wow. When you were at home on furlough, was there buses and trains running in Niagara Falls?
Oh, yeah. I took the bus at the corner of Niagara Street or Liz Avenue.
Was it a very busy and robust city?
Well, at night, the guys went to work at the steel mills.
How do you think so many young men weren't in the military when World War II was going on? Was there a lot of young men that weren't enlisted or in the service?
There were the young men around, the older people.
Okay, so most of them got drafted.
Yeah, drafted or they were out
Yes.
someplace, yeah.
2.
So that was a kind of a unusual sight
Yeah.
to see most of the older people.
Yeah.
But were the stores still fairly busy?
Stores were closed at, when they closed during the weekends, they closed at 6.
And were they
it's
open on Sunday?
Sunday till 10.
Okay.
Didn't they have blackouts and stuff? Did they have blackouts?
Well, I had blackouts, so yeah, I had to put the curtains down, black curtains up.
Because I remember Hooker Chemicals had all their windows blacked out.
Yeah.
Even 60 or 70 years after the war.
Yeah, they're still black.
They never took them
They
down.
painted them, yeah.
Yeah, they paid them, never took them down.
Yeah.
During that home from Furlough, did you see your two brothers, Steve and Lookie?
No.
They were gone, right?
Well, look, Stevie was in Cornell. He was school. Lookie was all over. I had to pick him up every week. He ran away from home.
At that point, I think.
Yeah, what time?
Minute.
So Lookie was always traveling.
Yeah.
I got you. And your mother had a nice friend that picked her up, took her to work.
Yeah.
What kind of car was it, do you remember?
Plymouth.
A big four-door Plymouth?
Green one. Old car. It was an old
Yeah.
car.
Did you say your mother worked so long at Carbrundum they had to some way push her out?
They wanted an older woman to get her up because look, I got young kids to take care of. You don't have any help kids with that. You had your day. Give someone else a chance.
Wow, man.
30 seconds.
So what did she do about that?
Well, I worked for my mother worked for another year since she quit.
Yeah,
I said, well, you're too old to work anyway, Mom.
Was she mad about that?
Well, yeah, because that was her livelihood.
Yeah. Wow. So she worked there to her late 80s.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. She was a hard worker, right?
Huh?